Crimes you didn't know were committed by your favorite celebrities, part 3. And this time we're going to be talking about Tim Allen. If you don't know who Tim Allen is, before he was a family-friendly actor in movies like The Santa Claus, before he gave us beloved characters like Buzz Lightyear and Toy Story, and before he starred in TV shows like Home Improvement, before all of that, Tim was just a little old boy born in Denver, Colorado in 1953 by the birth name Timothy Dick. Now, Tim went on to change his name from Timothy Dick to Tim Allen due to bullying that he faced as a child due to his last name. Tim's father unfortunately passed away due to a car accident when Tim was only 11 years old, and then after the passing of his father, him and his family moved to Detroit, where his mother then married her high school boyfriend. Timothy eventually left home for Central Michigan University, where he would then meet his first wife. While in university, Tim unfortunately started to go down the wrong path and began abusing drugs heavily. As a way to help fund his habit as well as help fund his way through school, Tim eventually started dealing small amounts of drugs, but ultimately ended up escalating to larger quantities. October 7th, 1978, only 2 years after graduating from college, Tim was arrested at Kalamazoo Battle Creek International Airport, charged with possession of over 650 grams of cocaine. 24 years old at the time and unaware that the state had recently passed legislation that issued a life sentence to anyone found in possession of 650 grams or more. Tim originally planned to rake in a whopping $42,000 for the transaction, but ultimately ended up with nothing more than a very probable life sentence in prison. Tim was set up in a sting by Officer Michael Pfeiffer, who had allegedly been watching him and tracking him for months. Tim put the bag containing their narcotics inside of a locker and then handed the key off to Pfeiffer. Tim went on to tell the media that the next thing he knew, he had a gun in his face. Tim pled guilty to trafficking charges and was eventually able to strike a deal in exchange for other big dealers' names. The deal meant that Tim's case would be seen in federal court instead of state court, which meant that the new legislation no longer applied to his case. He was ultimately sentenced to 3 to 7 years in prison, but was able to get out in only 2 years and 4 months due to good behavior. He was released from Federal Correctional Institute in Sandstone, Missouri, June 12, 1981. His work as an informant successfully aided in authorities being able to indict 20 people in the drug trade as well as convict 4 major drug dealers. And after his release from prison, he began attending local stand-up comedy events. He was working at an ad agency during the day and working at comedy clubs during the night in Detroit. He went on to give a statement about his experience of being sentenced to prison. And he said that when I went to jail, reality hit so hard that it took my breath away. I was put in a holding cell with 20 other dudes. We all had to crap in the same crapper in the middle of the room. And I just thought to myself, man, I can't do this for 7 years. I want to unalive myself. But he has later gone on to credit prison for being able to give him experiences that he was later able to turn into comedy gold. Another statement he gave said, "I was funny before that, but prison really grew me up. I was an adolescent that woke up way too early due to my father's passing, and I just stayed that angry adolescent." And after doing work in the comedy clubs and after gaining a pretty loyal audience from some commercials that he was able to star in, Tim was eventually able to convince ABC to give his sitcom vision, his sitcom dream, the one we all grew to know and love, Home Improvement, a chance. And they did. So I don't know, you guys. Did you know about this?